Steelers.
The Cleveland Browns need to fix their team. They have a lot to work on. Let's talk about what they need to fix. And first off, let's say how this all started, how the season started for the Cleveland Browns. First game of the regular season, the Steelers won 21-18 against the Cleveland Browns, and then also finished the season by beating the Browns. But let's just start out with the basics. The Browns lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers 21-18. They all start with a blocked punt for a touchdown on the very first Browns drive. And guess what? From there, everything went out of control. They went 0-16 on the year. And the next thing that went wrong is Kizer had the most turnovers as an NFL player this year. I mean, the Browns had the most turnovers as a team this year, and that's something you can't win having the most turnovers in 1 year. Then there was a funny, I think it was hilarious, and this is the most Browns thing ever. The trade for A.J. McCarron, they had everything with the Bengals all set up, and they were going to trade A.J. McCarron to the Cleveland Browns. But the only issue is the trade, they agreed on everything. Then they missed the trade deadline by mere minutes. They didn't notify the league in time that the trade was going through, and they couldn't trade A.J. McCarron. That was the next issue with them. I mean, it just kept going on and on. Then, towards the end of the season, they would fire their general manager, Brown. I don't know if I'm saying this right, Sashi Brown, but you're not going to fire the head coach who went 1-31 in 2 seasons. He even said himself, I don't think any other coach could have stayed at this job at 1-31. How do you keep your job at 1-31? I just bewilders me. If it doesn't bewilder you, there's an issue. They don't have to win a Super Bowl, I don't think. I think they just need to look better than a high school football team. I think that's what it comes down to. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. There's ways that the Browns can be better, but let me tell you how that can happen. First, they should probably draft a legit QB who can win more than one game a season. The last time the Browns won, guess who their QB was? It was none other than RG3. That was over a year ago. And I think they beat the Chargers. I don't know if it was in overtime or it was in the mere last seconds of the game with a field goal. I felt really happy for the Browns. I'm a Steelers fan, but I felt really happy for the Browns to actually get a W. 1 win in the last 2 seasons, though. That's sad. The last QB to win the game was RG3. That was a while ago, so if you guys remember that, I don't know. I remember the game. I don't remember him playing. Secondly, the Browns' defense needs to be in the top half if they want to have a chance to win a football game next year, or along with the QB. I think they can actually go 8-8 if they do these 3 things I'm saying. So first, draft a QB. Second, they got to get a strong safety who can actually make a tackle and get turnovers for this team, because as much as they have turned it over this season, they need someone who can compensate on defense and at least help this offense even it out, because they're bad in the turnover margin last year. I don't even know what the numbers were. I could look it up. But they were terrible. And finally, they got to draft a legit wide receiver, because the Browns could have actually beat the Steelers the final game of the season. I mean, you have to admit the Steelers were playing their backups, but they could have beat them because the Browns receiver had a chance to catch the football. I don't know, Steelers fans might remember this if they watched the Browns game at the end of the year. The Browns dropped a clutch catch, and they could have had a chance to win the football game, but instead, turnover on downs, and the Steelers would just need the clock. I mean, they got to draft a wide receiver who they can rely on. I mean, they got Josh Gordon, but they need someone to help him out. I think he's going to be back next year. They got to get someone who can help him out, and they got to have a number 2. They just have to. So they do these 3 things. Draft a legit QB who can last more than a few games, or maybe more than a season. That'd be a record, I think, if they last more than a season. No offense, but every QB that you've drafted, you've changed about 3 or 4 times a year, so I don't think that's even exaggerating the last 2 years. Secondly, gotta get strong safety. I don't care who it is. I don't know if they gotta draft one or trade for one. I don't care who it is. You gotta get someone like Eric Berry back there to play defense. They gotta finally they gotta draft a legit wide receiver who can help everyone, who can be a legit number 2 behind Josh Gordon, or maybe be better than Josh Gordon. Personally, I think Browns fans are happy. You love Josh Gordon. I respect that, but I think he's overrated. I mean, that's just me as a Steeler fan. I mean, you got Julio Jones out there. You got AB out there. Josh Gordon is I think he's in the top 10 for receiving, but they got to get someone who can help Josh Gordon out. So I think if the Browns do these 3 things, they can actually go 6-10 next season. I mean, maybe 8-8, but I don't think they can actually have a chance to win a few games. Like I said, they don't have to win the Super Bowl. They just have to be better than a high school football team. And some people say the Browns will never be good. But you know what? I think if they do these 3 things, they can be good. That's all I got for you this week. We'll be back next week with the Cincinnati Bengals.